Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Charmed Rewind. Bit of a strange start to this one. We're recording this shortly after the passing of Shannen Doherty. And I never know what to say in these kinds of situations, especially on a comedy podcast. So I'll just say that she was a very talented actress and she will be missed. And if you're someone that is deeply affected by this, we hope that we can help you laugh a little bit with our silly charm jokes. Mm-hmm. So, anything else we want to note before we get into this? I think I wrote down a thing. This has nothing to do with anything, but someone had mentioned, and I'm not going to remember whenever we get to one of these. Apparently, Drew Fuller said at a convention recently that the Chris stuff, like he was written in to be a love interest for Paige originally. Oh. That's a very weird thing.
For Paige, interesting.
Yeah. Neither of them are in this episode. But so, fittingly enough, the episode that won the poll is a Prue-centric episode. So we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 5, Dream Sorcerer. We're going way back.
Way back. But I guess this was the third episode produced even, so pretty early.
Was it the third one produced?
Yeah, fifth aired, but third produced.
Oh, yeah. You can tell there's some early stuff in this.
Yeah.
The third one produced, and I should note, the Dream Sorcerer in this is not a sorcerer. Mm-hmm. He's just a guy, and that was their third episode. They're like, just a guy.
It's kind of insane science how they got to this working, but I do wish Charmed had stuck with once in a while it's not a supernatural thing they have to deal with.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they did more stuff. I mean, I guess they do occasionally do things where it involves someone who's not supernatural, like as like a subplot, but it feels like they always end it in a really dumb or dubious way.
I guess I wish they were put in the position like, do we kill this normal person or not?
Yeah, they don't even acknowledge it in this episode.
No.
Like, Prue just kills the guy and then they never get into it was just a guy.
Yeah, I guess she never even finds out.
Yeah.
Unless they maybe find out after the episode.
Yeah, maybe after that. Like, it's like, oh yeah, Andy's like, yeah, I was looking into this guy who was killing people in their dreams. Like, what the?
Yeah. Like, he's doing it through technology.
Maybe they just think that it's magic because he called himself the Dream Sorcerer. So he really kind of erroneously called himself something he really wasn't.
Yeah, I guess they would never really know for sure whether he's using magic or not, but he
was doing kind of a flatliners thing. I mean, it's basically magic, but in their world, it's not really magic.
Mm-hmm. No, so, he's using tech.
Yeah. Strange. But anyway, okay, should we jump into the plot? Mm-hmm. All right, so we open at Quake. The first line of dialogue is some random dude asking Phoebe if her parents are terrorists because she's the bomb. Really pre-9/11 pickup line, isn't it?
It's yikes anyway.
Yeah, it's not good, but I'm like, ooh. Terrible. Then his buddy with him is like, no. Ask her if it hurt when she fell from heaven because she's Lucifer. Phoebe's like,
wow, that guy really some foreshadowing.
Yeah, really knew what was. He saw the future. Phoebe says she's no angel, she's a witch. Ha ha ha. Anyway.
When they're good, they're very good. I like it. But when they're bad, they're even better.
It's kind of funny. It's like there's a bunch of drunk losers at Quake. You'd think this would have happened once, P3 was their hangout more often, but no, just all the drunk losers are at Quake.
Yeah, it's weird because it's basically like a frou-frou restaurant, but then they're playing some vaguely kind of club music later to maybe try and sell that this is where the hot singles go.
Apparently.
But I don't buy it.
No.
When they started like in the first episode or near that, when Piper is like auditioning to work at Quake, it's like they got like the French chef like, I don't think this is the club where. Anyway, So Phoebe finds Prue and Piper at Quake, and they're all wearing their season 1 promo pic outfits.
That's how you know it's early.
Yeah, that's how you know it's the 3rd episode produced. They're like, all right, let's get some promo shots out. We're actually making a show now. So apparently, Prue and Piper have been watching a couple make out for like an hour.
Yeah, weird.
Do they have nothing else to do than just sit there watching them? And Piper goes, I hate being single. This is a lot of season 1 stuff. I mean, it's a subplot in this episode, but there's so much like, oh, boys, and I gotta find a man. I gotta find a date. Like later on, it's mostly Phoebe doing that, but...
Yeah, which is classic Phoebe, though. I think it's handled better in this episode than it is later. Because it's still kind of Phoebe's a dummy.
Yeah.
Instead of she was right about everything she does.
Yeah, I think Phoebe in this episode, it's fine to her character at this point because, like, she is trying to, like, help Prue. It just gets interrupted by stupid boyfriend shit. But
right. But when you know what comes later in the show, you're just like, 8 seasons of her doing this type of crap.
But it's like, it's somewhat charming in season 1.
Yeah, because she's still the fuck up.
Yeah, she's kind of the fuck up, but also she's like, you know, she horny. She want to get with a horny man, and she sort of has a sense of priorities. Like she does magic for dumb reasons, but when things are happening, she is trying to help Prue.
Well, at least
not
at
really
this
an
point
innocent
too.
Involved in this one that they help, but there's someone who dies, but that's before they know what's going on.
But at least at this point, too, it's very early with them figuring out their magic and stuff. So it's not just her like, oh, let's just do personal gain because I feel like it type of stuff. Like, she's trying to rationalize it, but it's also like we don't really know how our powers work that well yet.
Yeah, I think when you're in a show like this and it's early on, like, you should do plots like that where it's like, what can we do or what can't we do with personal gain, or they try to push the limit or whatever. I don't think the consequences are very much to this personal gain with her and Piper, but...
It kind of made them crazed.
Yeah, but it was like 1 second they freeze him and it's the end of that. You know?
I guess.
I feel like there wasn't really... I don't know. I mean, I guess it's more than they do later, so something happened. But anyway, it's not like them just brushing it off and then nothing happens. Like, it's actually part of the plot.
Yeah.
So, at Quake, they're watching the people make out. And here we meet Skye, who's a waitress at Quake, and she will surely live a long life. You know, when they name someone, you're like, that's not, you ain't gonna see her make it to the end of the episode.
Best friend, Skye.
Hi, Skye. We've always, you know, Skye.
We love you, Skye. It's like, I guess it's better than some later Charmed where they don't try to do anything with a character before they kill them off. But it's very much like, this is our friend, just so to pretend there's some importance before we kill them type thing in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of as much as we get with some of them later. Just we get a name and then they die.
I guess, like, the acting was fine. They gave her some scenes where she had to carry them. I guess.
She did more than, what was it, like Jeremy in the... that one where it was like at P3 and then we see the guy arranging beer or checking on the beer in the basement or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't die. Anyway, so Skye has brought a drink for Prue. She says that it was ordered for her by that generic handsome 90s man creeping in the corner. Yeah, he peers around someone like,
he peers and does like the raises his glass.
This is the dream sorcerer of the episode, and I wasn't sure if they were trying to present him as like charming or not, you know, when he does that. I'm like, ooh, that's creepy. But I guess not, because the rest of the episode, he's just going like, hi, it's me. Why won't people go out with me?
This guy has the worst game ever, and yet somehow he's surprised that everyone turns him down.
He's like, why do they keep rejecting me? I'm so nice, and I say everything like I'm a ghoul.
It's so bad.
So he raises his glass of beer at her like, with the creepy smile. And Prue's like, yeah, send this drink back to him. I'm seeing someone else, not interested. She's nice about it, but she's got that Andy thing going on, and I don't think she would be into this guy, even if she wasn't with someone. So Skye takes the drink back over to the Dream Sorcerer. She relays the message.
Rick Berman, the Dream Sorcerer.
Rick Berman. His name's Whitaker Berman. This is revealed way late into the episode, though. So it's just like, I just kept writing Creepy Man or Dream Sorcerer because they didn't have a name for him.
Dream Creep.
Yeah, Dream Creep. Freddie Lamer here. That wasn't even a good... I'm sorry. That wasn't a good joke. That was nothing. I was really stretching. But anyway, so she's like, yeah, she's with someone, not interested. And then he like reveals he's in a wheelchair. Like he pulls out to try and get like a pity date. Like, maybe you'll go out with me? I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I love this. Like, oh, that failed. Maybe you'll date me.
Like, no game at all. And she's like, no, I'm not allowed to date customers. Bye. And again, she's nice about it, but this is a pass.
Mm-hmm.
So, cut to Skye at home, where I'm sure she'll have a great night and nothing will happen. She's in one of those, like, 90s grandma-looking nightgowns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had one of them, too. It was real bad looking. Like, they have the lace, and it just looks bad. Big dumpy nightgown. And, so she goes to sleep. She's going to be the first to die because she's not a main character.
Yeah, even though Prue rejected him first, he's like, I'll get the waitress who barely did anything, like just politely passed. Like, oh,
yeah,
kill her!
Really takes his time with Prue, considering she was the first one that he went after. But yeah, he appears in her dream to go after Skye. She's suddenly in a sexy dress. Her bed and a bunch of stuff in her room has appeared in this like red fog, which is initially kind of a creepy effect. Like, oh, her stuff is kind of in this other dimension. Mm-hmm. But then that's what they do with everything. Like he's a dream guy who could do anything, but he always makes them appear on a roof. Yeah,
it's always the same roof. That's always how he kills them too. He's a really unimaginative guy. He has all of dreams at his disposal, apparently. He's like, I know, I'll just always take them to a roof and throw them off.
Yeah, like it's like you could get a little more creative with this, but they're like, this is our third episode. We have no money. Yeah. So
that's all Freddy did like, every time. He's like, welcome to the roof.
I feel like they did this sort of thing to better effect when they introduced their greatest enemy, Barbas, before he even had a name, because he was like capitalizing on their fears, but he was making stuff happen in kind of creative ways. But this guy is just like always make him appear on a roof, make really bad passes at them in a creepy way, and then toss them off. Like it's like, well, nothing's gonna happen now.
Yeah. I liked one time when he pulled Prue into there and they were like lighting them in red and the background's very blue. It's like good in theory, but their execution is bad because it's just kind of exposing how obvious a set the background was. I
mean, I guess I appreciated some of the things they were trying to do with next to no budget. And they obviously only had like the one set, but I do feel like it was more creative than they would get later with like the lighting and trying to do kind of a creepy atmosphere. Because later it would just be like it's just at their house, and then maybe they would add a filter to the camera or something.
I feel like maybe just some fog in the background to obscure the backdrop would have helped. And then I mean, maybe some of this wasn't helped by HD too. It might have looked a little better
maybe. In us too. But I thought it was really funny. So Skye is in this dream. All of a sudden, she's on a roof, and she's got a sexy dress on. This guy is creeping on her. And then she's surprised that he can walk. Mm-hmm. Out of all the things, like, you can walk in this dream?
My dreams, I can walk.
And Freddy Krueger just annihilates him. Yeah. You're really lame, sorry. You got no game. Really? This is all you're doing? Come on.
It's as lame as Freddy's nightmares.
And then he slurps him up in a straw.
Sometimes you run yourself over, right, Brad Pitt?
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
sometimes nonsense happens because it's a dream, and then a woman falls off a ladder. The end?
Like, what did that mean? I don't know. You tell me.
I love there's no interpretations or anything in this dream world.
Mm-hmm.
Like Freddy Krueger, it's kind of, he does these like poetic deaths where he tries to do something kind of
Poetic
creepy.
justice.
Poetic justice. He tries to do these kind of creepy deaths. This guy doesn't. It's always he puts them in a sexy dress, he dances with them, and then he throws them off a roof.
Mm-hmm.
It's never anything else. I'm like, don't you get bored of this, dude?
Yeah.
So they do a little dance. He pushes her off the building. There's a hilarious green screen shot of the woman falling, like, ah!
Yeah.
Then it's the opening credits, like, huh? I do anything for you?
Like, now you gotta stay. Sky's dead. If Sky could die, anyone could be next.
Shit. She was in the opening credits. We thought she was a main character. So the next day, Sky's dead. She's in her bed. She's all twisted up. But like in a way that the actress could kind of sit. It's not like she's all broken up and it's creepy. It's just the actress kind of with her arms and legs kind of twisted a little.
Yeah, it's just her knees bent normally.
Yeah. So Andy and Darryl are there. They're on the case, and they note that every bone in her body has been crushed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no effect alluding to this.
Right. Because
I guess they're like, we don't want to show anything too graphic on this show, so they're just going to say every bone was crushed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no external damage visible. It doesn't make any sense within the lore of this episode, I mean.
Yeah.
And
also,
Andy says... Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, it also doesn't make sense. Andy says they're on the ground floor, even though everything shows that they're not. You can see that pyramid of San Francisco in the background showing they're not on the ground floor. And also the establishing shot showed it was not a ground floor apartment.
Yeah, there's nothing in the ground floor. And there's no reason he needed to note that either, because her laying in bed with all of her bones crushed wouldn't make any sense regardless, because she's not on the ground. She's in her apartment in her bed.
Yeah, like it would make... It's like they're trying to add another layer of weird with that, but it doesn't really work because it wouldn't be any less weird if she was on a top floor and then somehow returned to the bed and everything.
Yeah, I mean, they could just say, like, there's nothing indicating she was moved into the bed, or there's nothing indicating anyone broke into the room. Yeah, like, that's all they really need.
Yeah, they didn't need to add that.
But it doesn't make any sense that there's no damage to her externally, because later, that's how Prue is clued into the fact that things happening in her dream is real, is that her shoulder gets cut. So why does that happen for her, but not for Sky?
Yeah.
And why would her bones get crushed, but the rest of her would be fine? If that happened in her dream, then it would happen to the rest of her, right?
Yep.
It just doesn't make no sense.
No. Yeah. Well, if he says the thing, like, presumably it's his magic tech that makes people die in dreams, but he says, like, if you die in dreams, you die for real. It's like, not true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're saying the tech is making them die, or it's just he's killing them in their dreams and that's why they die. I mean, I guess...
Well, it's not the shock of a dream that makes your bones get crushed.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's not like everyone who dies in a dream normally will die the way they died in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway... meanwhile, Piper is working out at the manor because she wants to be sexy so a man will want her.
Gotta work out and get a man.
Prue, in a moment of true 90s feminism, says they need to stop thinking about what men want and start thinking about what they want in a man. Girl power.
Oh my goodness!
So Phoebe strolls in wearing pink knitwear, chunky platform heels, and stuffing her face with cereal. And she says she wants a man who's tons of fun, lots of heat, and has no strings attached. Girl.
Dates. Lots and lots of dates.
Lots and lots of dates.
They love their knitwear around this time. This is like a pink sweater that's like see-through, so she's got like a black bra underneath. Very late 90s look. Piper says that she knows this doesn't sound very PC, but she wants romance. How is that not PC? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I want a sensitive romantic guy, and it's like, how is that not politically correct?
How would you say that?
We're supposed to want pieces of shit who hate us and treat us like dirt, like Phoebe. Like, what do you... Don't understand that.
Very weird.
They talk about Prue having her thing with Andy, but she hates keeping her witch side a secret. At the police station, Andy and Darryl discuss Skye's case. They note that outside of shattering every bone in her body, there's not a scratch on her. That seems weird to say, like, oh, outside of, shattering every bone in her body, not a scratch on her. I think that's a pretty lot amount of damage for someone, but...
fair amount.
Andy is like, this must be murder. And Darryl says he hates it when they say that, but with a smirk. They look like they're gonna kiss.
It's so weird. Yeah.
They're like leaning toward each other. And that's how it
does.
ends.
It does seem like they're about to kiss. It's just funny that Dorian Gregory's Darryl seems to have a bit more personality with Andy in this early stuff. Yeah,
I don't know what happened because like he doesn't have as much screen time as he does later, but he's really like better when he's with Andy than with the others. Not that he doesn't have his moments, but it just feels
it's just like
he
he's worn down. I guess like the sisters just wore the life out of him. I don't know.
There's more chemistry between them than Andy and Prue, though, I will say. Maybe Darryl's just got that charm, whenever he had scenes with other people. Yeah, charmed. But anyway, at Quake, Piper is serving stuff to this businessman because Skye didn't show up. She has to work.
And she's so mad. Piper is mad just because she gives the food to this one guy and he goes, oh, thanks. And that's all she gets from him. Like, she wanted him to be like, oh, thank you so much.
How did she ever work in the service industry? Like, what the fuck?
Like, why was she mad? He said thanks. And
just because he's a busy business guy. I guess they're trying to show, the stark difference between him now and later. But it's like, he's just minding his own business.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything for you, Piper. Yeah. He paid for his meal. But who does show up is Phoebe to annoy Piper at work. She's just following her around like, what the fuck?
She does this so much in this episode.
It's like, Piper is working. All you're doing is like,
I want to fuck some guys. How about you?
Well, if we use magic, it's fine.
Yeah. She says, I found a spell to attract a lover. And according to the trivia, this is the find a perfect man spell. I don't think they call it that, but they must use the same spell or something because like they note that they do that later when they're like conjuring the perfect man for Piper, like some seasons ahead.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure, but
this is when it took a little more effort to do spells and stuff, and they still cared a little bit about the presentation of doing spells.
Yeah, they do have bad spell words, though, because like...
Oh, it's really funny.
They say, like, I'm the queen, you're the bee, or something.
Yeah, I was just thinking they should be saying...
But I guess it's a little better than what they do later, which is pretty bad.
I was thinking the word should be like, I'm rubber, you're glue. He says, bounces off of me and sticks onto you. That's their spell.
Yeah, they even say later, like, it's a big spell that they usually do with Prue, so that's how you know it's an early thing, because later there would just be, like, one of them would just say this random love spell, like, why would it be a power of 3 thing? Yeah. They don't end up using her for it anyway, but I guess they're still learning. So yeah, Phoebe is like, I found this spell to attract a lover, and Piper's like, well, there's personal gain. I don't think we should use that. And Phoebe's like, how is it personal gain to bring happiness to another person? In my case, lots and lots of happiness. Not justified, Phoebe. Phoebe's like, well, I don't want marriage. I'm just horny. Let me fuck a guy for a while. I don't think this is personal gain at all.
At least, it flies back in her face and it's presented like she's being a dummy about it. Instead of like later, or if she did something like this, the episode would go out of its way to say, well, Phoebe was right, though, to do it.
Yeah, she'd be like at the column and they'd be sucking her dick or whatever. It's like, she only did it because her boyfriend was on a vacation and she needed some sex or something. She was right to do it. So Piper, hilariously, she's like, this is desperate. And Phoebe's like, it's empowering.
Naked woman!
So, cut to later that night. Piper is like, I guess I'm desperate too. She's gone from cooking at work to cooking a spell at home. She's like chopping up vegetables, but it's, I guess, for this spell?
I thought
She's got like paprika and stuff.
I think she's making dinner first till they go upstairs.
Well, her and Phoebe were doing the spell because Phoebe comes down talking about what they need for it and stuff.
Yeah,
maybe they were doing both at the same time.
Yeah, maybe she's multitasking.
But I don't know if they used any of that stuff when they went upstairs to do the spell, so I don't know.
They're eating later, like, you think I accidentally put any of the spell ingredients in the dinner?
Eye of Newt in here. So Prue arrives home due to a date that Andy has canceled, presumably because of this murder investigation. She arrives just in time to scold Piper and Phoebe for doing a dumb spell. Piper is like, well, I want someone special in my life, and this spell might be able to provide it, even though Phoebe has only ever indicated this is basically for one night or 2 night stands. Like, I don't know why she thinks this is going to be the true love for her.
I thought it'd been really funny, though, when Phoebe accidentally spills it to Prue that they're making this spell. They just cut to Phoebe's dead body. Andy and Darryl investigating, like, oh no, there's no marks on her, but all her bones are broken.
Cut to Prue. Who's the one that died in the show now? I love this too. Like, okay, so Piper says this but hasn't really explained what's going on. And then like Phoebe's like, I can explain, as if this requires much explanation at all. Yeah. And then they do this like whip pan to like Prue at the table, you know, to cut out all of the explanation. Mm-hmm. And like this takes one sentence to explain. I don't know why they needed this. Why she had to sit down.
Yeah.
Piper is like, well, we were hoping that you would join us, even though, like, Prue's not looking for anyone. Why would she join them? They're like, how well is this Andy thing going to work out anyway?
Do you want more creeps to give you drinks that you don't want?
Yeah. Why don't you get to fucking and chucking? Come on.
It's like Prue's kind of having the opposite problem right now.
Yeah.
she needs less guys bugging her.
It's like the show is like constantly obsessed with like them having to want dates even when they're not looking for dates. Mm-hmm. So Prue is like, all right, you guys are on your own. Do your stupid thing. So they head on over to the attic to do the spell while some footage of their cat watches them. And I thought that this was from a different day because they just kept cutting to the cat and not in the same shot as them. But then at the end of the shot, they revealed that the cat was with them the whole time.
They did show the cat in the background of one shot where they were
when they leave, the cat was with them. But I thought from some of the close-ups, it was just like some footage they shot without the actors. But I guess the cat was there.
The cat was there.
This was when they cared about the cat. But even then, it's the 3rd episode, and they're like, I don't know, what do we do with the cat? Maybe the love spell affects her, and there's some horny tomcats. Yeah. That do anything for you? This is one of maybe 2 kit plots they ever had. 3, I think there's one where the cat gets kidnapped or something. Catnapped. So Phoebe reads what Piper wrote down as her ideal man, and then she laughs at her description of like basically Leo. She's like,
you want someone who loves love as much as you?
She's a future love advice columnist. She's like,
you stupid romantic. Why don't you just get with a Harley Davidson idiot who can treat you like shit? Love. You're so stupid.
This is before Piper is like,
I'm with a guy who I can order around.
Yeah.
Phoebe's note says that she wants a sexy, dangerous man on a Harley with a big dick. They have a stupid joke about how employed and endowed both start with an E. Mm-hmm. Like, we want a man who's well employed. So they cast the spell. They say, I'm the queen, you're the bee, blee, 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 whatever. Mm-hmm. Then they get a call. And they go downstairs, but the call was actually the dream sorcerer for Prue.
This is his next great pickup. He's like, okay, she didn't like the drink. What she'll really love is me tracking her down somehow, finding out her number and calling her like, I know you didn't like that drink, but how about we go on a date now?
Yeah, what is this? She gives a hard pass, and then Sky also gives a polite no, and then he kills her, and he's like, maybe it'll still work out with Prue. I'm going to find out all of her information. Yeah, I'm going to find out all of her information. I'm going to call her number, stalk her, and see if this works out. He's like, we met before. Well, we didn't really meet. I sent you a drink, and then you turned me down. But maybe we could go out?
They don't play this as creepy as they should even.
He still says it. Everything he says, I feel like they dubbed all of his lines, too. And like, it sounds like the guy is dubbed, but with a creepy voice. I think it's the actor's voice, but he sounds like a cartoon, and it's weird.
I think he delivers his lines poorly. He does deliver them
poorly, but it sounds like he's dubbed to me.
I don't know.
Maybe, whatever the case is, he says all of it like that, so whatever the intention was, he always comes off creepy.
I think, though, they don't acknowledge how much work this idiot would have had to done, especially back then, to find out who she was.
Maybe he looked her up in the phone book. I feel like maybe it was a little easier to
but he still would have had to find out what her name was just from looking at someone in a restaurant. Like,
I don't know how he did that.
Take a bit of detectiving, and like, it's very creepy, and they don't acknowledge that.
Yeah, well, I mean, she says she's not available again, but then she also asks like some very reasonable questions, like, hey, how'd you get my number and my name? And then he hangs up, like,
yeah,
didn't expect her to ask that. Why isn't she interested in me?
Why do girls keep turning me down? I do everything right.
She tells Phoebe and Piper about this. Like, she's like, hey, it's that guy that tried to give me a drink and somehow he got my number and my name and he called, and they're like, oh, that's weird. Well, anyway, we're gonna go.
Anyway.
We don't care about this.
Yeah, we have the opposite problem. Can you tell him to call me, actually? He sounds dangerous. I like that.
Neither of them seem even remotely curious about this, much less disturbed by this. And Phoebe's like, well, go into Quake, see if the spell worked.
Yeah.
Get a guy.
I'm gonna go to Quake. I'll throw all my clothes off and see who fucks me first.
They have, like, barely any sets, so they're like, yeah, we gotta go to Quake to see if that's the pickup joint.
Pickup place, Quake.
And then Prue's like, well, that was disturbing. Anyway, bath time. Cut to her in the bath with 1,000,000 candles lit, falling asleep. What are you doing, Prue? Trying to kill herself.
She's like, I'll get myself before the dream sorcerer.
Yeah, fuck you. So the dream sorcerer appears, the tub appears on the roof set, but this time they put green lights around it. It's different.
Yeah.
Prue puts a towel on in the water.
Yeah,
like she grabs a towel and starts putting it on. I wonder if like the bubbles were like going away too quick and they're like, I don't know, let's just do that so that it's not revealing that she's wearing a tube top or whatever under here. We don't want to bother refilling the bubbles. So yeah, she does that, and she keeps repeating that he doesn't exist because that's something that their mom would say, and I don't know, this is supposed to be some personal information that he finds out. It's not really that relevant. He grabs a loofah and then starts like putting it on her back, but it's like a sandpaper loofah, and it like cuts her. And then he shoves her in the water. He starts trying to drown her. So he did a different MO besides the roof. That one time he was going to drown her.
One time, yeah. He's like, well, that didn't work. Better go back to the roof.
Well, I was unsuccessful. You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, that's just because Piper came to the door and interrupted.
Yeah, but it didn't work.
It didn't work. I didn't understand, too, he had the sandpaper loofah thing, but then she just has, like, 3 Freddy Claw, scratches on her back. Like, that's not how it would look.
Because we're doing Nightmare on Elm Street badly, okay? Here it is. So, yeah, Piper knocks on the door because she heard her screaming. And then Prue clearly sounds rattled. Like, she's like, oh, I had a bad thing. Don't worry about it. And then Piper's like, yeah, all right, this seems fine. Yeah. Bye. It's not like she just had a creepy stalker phone call or any of this other shit. Like, it's fine.
All right, knock yourself out. I don't care.
Prue looks in the mirror. She sees that her shoulder has been cut for real. Waits until morning to tell them about anything. Like, we see the next day they're talking about it like at breakfast. So like, why? She's like, I'll wait.
Yeah. I don't know how this guy lucks into some of these things too, because he has to be in his dream machine at the lab to go into people's dreams.
Yeah.
So it's like Prue is randomly sleeping before she probably normally would be in the bathtub,
Yeah,
but somehow he was there.
He was just waiting around like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, whenever you notice something like that, a wizard did it.
She also says when she's talking to Piper about it the next day that the scratches have disappeared for some reason. Why?
Yeah.
This is the only time anything like this happens in this episode.
I don't know if they're just trying to say external injuries vanish, and that's why
would they vanish? And
it doesn't
internal?
make any sense. No, it doesn't. But
Like,
I don't
what if
know.
like Sky, like her bones mended themselves, and then she was fine, but they like buried her. Or
Yeah.
For some reason, Piper doesn't believe her and is like, "Hey, you're just working too much." Like, what?
Yeah.
There were 3 episodes in. They didn't know this was gonna happen all the time.
It's fine.
And then Piper's like, why don't you just use your powers on him in the dream? And she doesn't think to do that till the very end. That's how they solve it.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Your power's stupid.
Quit panicking. Just use your powers, idiot.
It's all I'll do later. I'll blow everything up.
So this is when a chiseled, shirtless man steps into the kitchen and just goes straight to their fridge. Like, he's like, oh, hey, what's up? And then, like, takes a jug of milk out and starts drinking straight out of it. And it's like, what the fuck?
This doesn't have anything to do with the spell. Like,
No, it's just an asshole.
yeah, he just.
But I guess she wanted an asshole.
She wanted an asshole.
Phoebe wanted an asshole.
But he's so stupid.
This guy's named Hans, and he,
we're waiting for Franz.
for Franz, yeah, he's here
They're gonna pump Phoebe up.
Yeah. He's just a dumb chiseled guy with a motorcycle. And Phoebe, this is from Phoebe's spell. They just had sex the previous night. He comes in and just helps himself to their stuff in their fridge. And not only is it rude to go straight to the fridge, but to drink out of the carton, the milk out of the jug or whatever. Really rude.
Yeah, he's like spilling it down his chest.
And, like, Phoebe's not in the room yet. He just sees them and goes in, and they're like, excuse me, who are you?
And starts playing the Slimer music.
Brr, 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 brr.
Ew.
Piper, when Prue asks who he is, Piper's like, who cares? Excuse me? You should care.
Yeah.
Some strange guy in your house.
It's so weird because she says who cares first, but then after Phoebe says like, oh, we had so much sex last night, Piper's like, gross.
Yeah, she's like, we had safe sex, don't worry. And
Ew. Safe sex.
I hate that.
Well, aren't you gonna have 1 million kids? That's what I want.
oh, but then they show that he's like the perfect guy because he recycles the milk jug he just drank out of. So, the ew is the end of scene, by the way.
Yeah.
So at the police station, Darryl and Andy continue to flirt. Andy is like, I've found several similar cases, and I think this is a serial killer. And that's the end of that scene. There's a lot of scenes that kind of feel like the pacing is a little weird in this episode. So that's the end of that. At Quake, Phoebe and Piper discuss Phoebe's hot date, and Piper doesn't think it was the spell. She's saying some stuff about how maybe it wasn't the spell, and it's like, no, I think it was a spell.
Yeah.
So Hans is at Quake. Phoebe leaves with him, so Piper can run into the business guy that she was mad at for no reason.
This time he gives the appropriate response where he like takes his glasses off and reveals he's Superman. Like,
I love they have the handsome reveal, just remove his glasses, like, he was handsome the whole time.
Yeah. He's like, oh, thank you for the food. Will you please date me?
I guess. We'll see.
And that's what she wanted from every customer.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. She goes to the phone to call Prue about it, but then another handsome business guy is like, fly to Paris with me.
She said no because she goes on dinner with Superman.
She turned down Paris guy. She's like, I want to go out with this guy who I thought was kind of rude to me. So
You'd have Piper and Clark.
At Buckland's, Prue is talking to Piper on the phone, and Rex shows up. That's the half-season villain that they have.
Mm-hmm.
He says one line and leaves. The scene was pointless. That's the end of that.
But also, I think it revealed she had a bunch of work, so that's why she's so tired at work later.
Yeah, I guess, but they also said she's been working too much, so I don't know. So later that night, Piper is telling Phoebe about her date with the handsome business guy, and Phoebe is going dancing with Hans. And Phoebe's like, this worked out great. Nothing bad will happen. But Piper has her doubts. End of that scene.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the Dream Lab?
Yes, the dream. That's really what they call it.
They're like, oh, this is a dream lab, huh? I think like Darryl is like, it's a dream lab?
The dream lab.
This is where Whitaker Berman works. He's the dream sorcerer. They study dreams. He's doing dream experiments. Spoiler alert, this is how he gets into people's dreams.
Not supernatural. Magic tech.
Yeah, magic tech. Andy has tracked down Whitaker because his first girlfriend, or his girlfriend was the first victim. So
she died the same way. It's like, oh, weird. Like you left a trail to you, dummy.
I mean, I guess to be fair, why would you think these people dying this mysterious way? Like,
yeah, but if he she had a connection to him, and then they all die in the same way.
Well, I think most of the ones are just women that rejected him outright, so it's not like they have a real connection with him other than his
except
girlfriend.
his first girlfriend. So
yeah, the first girlfriend.
That's a trail still. He could kill them different ways.
Yeah, he's bad at everything, basically. So Whitaker shows up, and he says everything like he's a butler at a haunted mansion. Like,
huh? I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is the worst he is. He talks like
he sounds guilty as fuck, but he also sounds like a weirdo.
He sounds like he doesn't know how to interact with a person. You're asking me questions?
Shall I get a drink for us?
Well, she did date me, but everything was fine. I mean, until she suddenly died, which I had nothing to do with.
Oh, too bad it's Sunday. Those dreams
she would have lived tomorrow.
So Andy's like, can you tell us where you were the night before last? And he's like, I was asleep in the lab. Everyone can confirm this. At Quake, Piper is on a date with handsome businessman number 1. And he says, oh, you're so refreshing. And she's like, well, it keeps my ulcer under control. And he says, it's the 90s. Is there anyone who doesn't have one? The fuck is this interaction?
I like Piper bothered with this date. I mean, maybe she just wanted to test how the spell was going more than she wanted to actually go on a date with this guy. She's just like, I'm going to try and turn him off immediately.
Yeah. Well, she's trying to test if this is true. She doesn't like that it's basically a spell and not someone who's really into her. But it is funny. She's basically saying a bunch of horrible things about herself. Like,
I basically suck. Is there anything that turns you off?
I'm going to turn you into a footstool. Do you like that?
And he's like, I would love it. And she's like,
great. Well, I'm going to unhinge my jaw and swallow you whole now.
I'd love to be in there.
Oh, this is great. Oh, it's really roomy in here. You're really refreshing.
Phoebe, he just went down my throat real easy. It's the spell.
I didn't have to work for this one. It's the hunt that I'm really into.
So she's kissing him when some more generic handsome 90s extras wink and finger gun at her. One of them has like a rose, like, eh? So back at the dream lab, the dream sorcerer is preparing for another dream non-sorcering. At Buckland's, Prue has fallen asleep because she's working late, and they go to the red dream fog again. And then Whitaker spins her in her work chair. Ah! Yeah. He's like, well, if you don't go out with me, I'll once again strike out completely with any number of women, including your sisters. Like, he's like, I can get any woman, even though he's like 0 for 0 this entire time.
He had to kill his ex because she realized he sucked. Like, and I assume this was before all his dream sorcering. Yeah. He somehow got a date before this. I don't know how that happened. But then he's just like, oh, my shitty pickup lines. No one will go for them. I must kill them all.
I do love how he's just like, yeah, go out with me or I'll hit on your sisters who also won't go out with me. He's like, the possibilities are endless for the dream sorcerer, says the guy who's not using any sorcery at all. He calls himself the dream sorcerer.
The possibilities are really just the same thing over and over. Him getting sad because they reject him because he has no game and then throwing them off a roof.
Yeah, eventually he's got to realize, like, the connecting thing is him. Like, the one thing that ain't working is this guy. So, Prue loves this. She kicks him in the nuts and stabs him with a letter opener.
That hurt. You made me bleed my own blood.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Go out with me. Psh, no, what'd I do?
Huh?
I said I would kill you. What else do you want?
I thought this would make us be the perfect couple. Phoebe's like, oh, sounds dangerous.
Why don't you chuck him on over here?
And then she has sex with him, and he's like, oh, I guess she didn't reject me. I'm fine. And it worked out. So Prue's about to get chucked off a building when the phone rings at Buckland's and wakes her up. And it's Andy with a Dare sticker behind him. And he's like, I just want to see if you're okay. I just wanted to hear your voice. And she goes, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Real romance.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem put off by this, though. No. Like, I get maybe she's just thrown off by almost getting murdered in her dream, and maybe she's not quite there at the moment. Mm-hmm. But, like, he doesn't look further into this.
Yeah. That's Prue for you, I guess.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
She's then surprised by Rex and threatens him with a letter opener because she didn't expect him to have 2 lines in this episode. And he's like, well, bye. See you in the next one.
Something's going on with you.
Oh, well. I'm just here because I'm contractually obligated to say some things. At the police station, Andy tells Darryl he's got this all figured out. Whitaker is dream leaping, of course.
Dream leaping.
Yeah. Dream sorcerer. You know that dream leaping?
Yeah. Put wrong what once went wrong.
I love, like, this is an experiment, too. It's not even supposed to be an established thing, but he's like, oh, yeah, he's dream leaping. He's projecting himself into women's dreams to kill them.
Yeah.
Like, wait. Immediately, he's like, yeah, I know what's going on.
What useful info is he getting to keep this research going? When he's just using it to go and kill women that rejected him?
Did the people at the lab know he's murdering women while he's doing this?
I assume they're not supposed to, but that'd be a funnier take when they all disappear at the end. They're like, oh, the jig's up. We're all in on this to help this one Wiener kill women who said no to him.
We're all incels that hate women too, so we're living vicariously through this guy. He's just so cool is the thing.
He said, hear the way he talks?
Want to kill women with me? And we're like, hot dog, we do.
Want to kill women?
So Andy's like, yeah, I know what's going on. He's dream leaping. He's projecting himself into women's dreams to kill them. And then he also throws out that he was paralyzed because he got into an argument with his first girlfriend while they were driving. So I guess that means he double hates women who reject him.
Yeah.
It's part of his origin story. The dream sorcerer, the ultimate villain.
That's when they became women hater man.
This is going to seem like I'm making a joke, but this is really how the scene ends. Daryl's like, can't argue with that. Let's go. It's literally it. He's like, I can't argue.
I can't argue with you.
dream leaping sounds reasonable. This is the third episode they produce, and he's already like, sounds fine.
I guess so.
I guess they started out in the pilot with like, there's some sort of magical occult serial killer, whatever.
Yeah.
So at the manor, Phoebe arrives home to find the place filled with flowers for her and Piper. And Piper's like, yeah, half of these are for you and half are all from weird men I don't know. And Phoebe's like, yeah, Hans got kind of weird. He was getting too touchy and needy and all these other guys were hitting on me. Getting kind of strange. They're like, even Kit was affected by the spell. And that's when you see a bunch of horny tomcats outside the window.
Yeah.
So Phoebe literally says, she calls them horny tomcats. That was funny. I like that. So this is when Prue calls them to tell them about the dream sorcerer. And all of a sudden, Piper believes her, even though she didn't before. But now she's like, that sounds reasonable. Now that you're dead tired from work, I thought that was what was happening. And then she's like, yeah, look up the dream sorcerer in the book. They go and look it up in the book. He's not in the book. And then they get a call and go downstairs and she's calling again. This is just stretching for time.
Yeah.
It's just like many pointless little scenes. And so this time she's driving when she calls. And Phoebe and Piper have to keep her awake.
I don't understand how she's this tired driving. Like, I know you can drift off while driving, but she knows something's going on. She should have a bit of adrenaline going because of all this going on. And she's like, I need you two guys to keep me awake on the phone because I'm just going to fall asleep. And then she hears them getting attacked by Hans, but that's not interesting enough to keep her awake. And you're like, I hope they die.
Yeah, there's that. But I mean, also, like, how much sleep did she lose in this episode? Because she fell asleep in the tub, and then she got woken up. And then the next morning, did she stay up all night from that? Or did she...
It's not a stat. Maybe if they had said that, like, she didn't sleep.
It didn't seem like she didn't sleep
No,
all
it didn't.
night.
They don't say that. If they said she was not sleeping for days, then I would get it.
And then, like, when she's at Buckland's, it's the next night, and she was sleeping again. But like, how late was it? Like,
they just said, though, because she was there doing work so late. They didn't, again, say because she wasn't sleeping at all.
Yeah, and, like, Phoebe and Piper are, like, at home awake, so I don't think it's that late in the night.
No.
So I don't know. Unclear.
Just seems weird, and she doesn't do anything to try and wake herself up. Like, there must be a vending machine at Buckland. She could have got some caffeine. She just doesn't try anything.
They do establish she's been tired from work because, Piper says she's downed, like, her third cup of coffee or whatever. So I guess there's that, but the amount, like, the extreme tiredness she has doesn't seem like there's been enough.
No, it seems weird, especially when she just hears them getting attacked and she's like, oh, that's boring.
Yeah, Hans breaks in to murder them, and then they throw a vase at him, and then Piper freezes him. That's the last we see of Hans. So yeah, Prue hears this. She hears them screaming, and then her reaction is to fall asleep and crash into a pole off screen because they can't afford a car crash.
Like, Dream Demon comes in too as she's doing this, like he's going to take credit for that, I guess. Like, you can't take credit for this kill if that killed her.
Yeah.
It doesn't. But he's like, ha ha ha, you're going to fall, you're going to crash. And like, oh, she did that one to herself.
Yeah, he didn't make her fall asleep. So Prue is taken to the emergency room, and she passes out there, goes back to the dream set.
And he's like, yeah, we'll just go with the roof. I don't know why I tried anything different.
Yeah, standard issue. Well, he was on the roof every time. Even when he tried to drown her, it was still on the roof.
Well, not in the car, I guess.
Oh, the car. Yeah, he did appear in the car, but yeah. I guess he did that. But anyway, the dream sorcerer, he's like... You really hurt me the night before, and not just my feelings.
Not just my feels.
You hit me right in the feels. Prue then tries to make a call in the dream. I'm going to call my sisters real quick. Prue. He takes the phone and he goes,
dream logic. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. The dream sorcerer is like, we're out of range. And then he goes, want a little wine with your death?
That was good.
So now Prue is in a sexy dress. They do a little dance. You know how it goes. But her sisters have arrived at the hospital. They're calling to her. She can hear them, and they're like, you gotta fight. You got at least 3 seasons to go before you die on us.
Piper goes, don't forget evil. And she's like, oh yeah, Piper is my inspiration for evilness. Like, you die, actually, Dream Boy.
Kill a man, it's fine. He's human, it's cool.
Hey, how you doing? Good to be evil.
Yeah, they take the time to establish that he's mortal, by the way.
I always think that's weird and charmed. Like, oh, they're mortals. Like, so are the demons you kill. They're not immortal.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like, what do you call them? When they're like, they're human, it makes it seem like witches aren't.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, she hears them. She's about to get checked off the building, and the dream sorcerer is like, shall I say goodnight? And she goes, no, let me. Nighty-night.
Her eyes glow red. Ah!
She chucks him off the building, and then his sleeping body makes this, like, horrible CGI scream, like they stretch his mouth out.
Yeah, it's so strange. I love that he dies, and then Darryl's like, I'll never doubt you again.
What? This didn't prove anything.
I mean, I guess it'd be weird because he probably died the same way all the women died, but still, it's just like...
They don't know that at that point.
They don't know that at that point.
You just see him
Absolutely
die,
not.
and then Andy dubs in going, he's dead, really sleepily.
Yeah.
And then, like, Darryl's like, I'll never doubt you again.
And all the rest of the crew at the Dream Lab have vanished.
Yeah. I do want to bring up the CGI mouth again. Just because
it's kind of like when Freddy dies, like his face is going to be inside his mouth, like head inside the head. Remember that bad effect as he explodes?
Right. That was terrible. It is kind of like that. Maybe they were emulating that. But I was just thinking of, this is the 3rd episode produced after the pilot, which they also did a shitty ass face morph. You remember on like Jeremy Destroyer of Worlds? He had the fucking face morph that looked like shit.
Okay.
Like, so they're like, let's bring that out again. We love our little face morphs here. Yeah, it's terrible. So yeah, he dies, and they do the I'll never doubt you again. That's the end of that. I guess, I don't know. How did they pin it on him? It didn't prove anything.
No, absolutely not. They don't have any solid evidence. They just have a weird link, which is that he would have died the same way the rest of them died.
And then when they see that, like, everyone else in the lab is fucked off, they just ran away, no attempt to revive this guy. They're just like, whoop. And then we see a shot of his body with this, like, dumb look on his face, like, ah!
You just hear zips.
Looks like he shit himself after he died. I'll never doubt you again. So the next day, Phoebe and Piper have brought Prue a bunch of their flowers. They're like, we have a bunch of these extra here. She's still at the hospital.
It is kind of funny the way she sheepishly admits that that's what they're from.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. And they're like, yeah, we reversed that love spell. They kind of went insane. It's cool now. None of the dudes remember anything. Hans didn't remember, being murderous or nothing.
Yeah.
That's when Andy shows up with a rose, a black turtleneck, and a cheeseburger and fries.
Her favorite, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. And he's like, glad every bone in your body isn't broken.
She's like, wait, what? He's like, well, let's not compare notes.
Because of your car accident.
Not because of dream sorcerers. What?
And then Piper gives Phoebe a rose, and that's the end. So what are your final thoughts on Dream Sorcerer, Phelan?
It's uneven. It's got a bit, early season wonkiness where show's still figuring stuff out, but I still think it's much better than later Charmed.
Yeah.
And I do like some of the ideas, but it's not all executed that well. I mean, it's ludicrous. This guy has a dream machine, but I still like the idea of having some, non-supernatural villains in the show once in a while.
Yeah, I think the 3rd episode was probably too early to produce something like that anyway, but yeah, there's an idea there.
Mm-hmm. But aired 5th. Still fairly a bit early for that.
Yeah, I think even the 5th, you need to establish your magical stuff a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when, there's a subplot with casting a love spell, but other than that, Prue just sort of remembers in the dream she has powers and then kind of flings him, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like this is, I keep saying charming, but it is kind of a charming early episode feel. You know, like if this was a show that maybe hadn't turned to shit, it would be awkward, but in that interesting season 1 way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the acting is bad. Like I liked the sisters because they were all like not terrible at this point. There's some kind of funny stuff. I thought the villain was kind of goofy bad, and I liked that Darryl had a personality.
Yeah.
So, Phelan, do you have a Margoyle or a Carman?
Margoyle has to be Rick Berman, the Dream Master.
Can't be anyone else. What a loser. He was a loser even before the Dream Sorcerer thing. Got no game.
He sucks so bad. Wow, of the worst pickups in the world, why does every woman reject me?
Yeah.
Off a dream roof. You suck at everything. Can't even talk normal. Well, I'm guilty as hell. I mean, innocent. I guess he's innocent. I'll give my Carman to Darryl.
Because he has a personality.
Yeah, I thought Darryl
never
came off a bit cooler here than he does later in the show. Even though he's very easily convinced.
I'm going to give my Carman to Prue.
Okay.
Because she had more sense than anyone in this episode. She also kicked the Dream Sorcerer in the nuts. Nice. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think she came off the best.
Yeah.
Anything else about Dream Sorcerer?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. If you enjoyed this podcast, we'd appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, or reviewed wherever you're enjoying this podcast. You can watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/movie nights the series or youtube.com/Phelan. You can listen to the podcast wherever podcasts are enjoyed, Spotify, etc. You can support us on Patreon if you'd like to vote for the episodes that we do on Charmed Rewind or see things ahead of time. You can support me on patreon.com/movie nights and Phelan on patreon.com/Phelan. Thanks to Peter Hunter for editing the podcast and for doing the amazing theme song. You can find him at Pretor Hunter on various social medias, including on YouTube, where he does lots of cool Pokemon Let's Plays. What hashtag should we use, Phelan?
Hashtag Dream Wiener.
Hashtag Freddy Lamer. I'm just gonna embrace it. Hashtag it's the 90s. Doesn't everyone have one? I think that's a good mouthful for everyone.
Sure.
All right. We'll see you Charmanders next time. Bye.